వేల్స్ దేశంలోని మనోహరమైన కథల నుండి ఒక అద్భుతమైన కథను మీకు చెప్పడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాము. ఈ రోజు మీరు ఎరుపు రంగు గల డ్రాగన్ కథను వింటారు. ఇది మీకు ఆశ్చర్యం కలిగిస్తుంది. మా కథ ప్రారంభమవుతోంది.
The Red Dragon of Wales, Part 1. Every old country that had won fame in history and built up a civilization of its own had a national flower. Besides this, it had some living creature, bird, beast, or fish on its flag. Along with the flag and symbol, it also had a motto. The motto of Wales was, "Awake, it is light." The symbol of Wales was the red dragon. It had 4 three-toed claws, a long barbed tongue, and a tail ending like an arrowhead. With its wide wings unfolded, it guarded those ancient liberties which neither the Saxons, Normans, Germans, nor kings on the throne have ever been able to take away. The Welsh were the oldest of the British people. Now let us listen to why the Cymric dragon was red. In the early days after the Romans in the south had left the island, the Cymric king Vortigern was attacked by Picts and Scots of the north. He invited the tribes called the Long Knives or Saxons to help him from beyond the North Sea or German Sea. But once on the big island, these friends became foes and would not return back. They wanted to possess the whole of Britain. Knowing that the Long Knives would soon attack him, he called his 12 wise men to seek advice. They advised him to retreat westward, behind the mountains into Cymru, and build a strong fortress to defy his enemies. So the Saxons thought they had driven the Cymru beyond the western borders of the country, which was later called England. Centuries later, this land received the name of Wales. The place chosen for the fortified city of Cymru was between the mountains. The king sent for carpenters and masons from all over the kingdom. Then prayers were offered to the gods by the Druid priests. These old men were dressed in white robes, with long, snowy beards falling over their chests. They had white oxen drawing their chariot. With a silver knife they cut the mistletoe from the tree branch, hailing it as a sign of favour from God. Then the king set the diggers to work. He promised a huge reward to those men who would dig the fastest so that the masons could begin their part of the work. But things did not turn out the way the king expected. Some dragon underground must have been offended by the invasion of its territory. The next morning, they noticed that everything in the form of stone, timber, iron, or tools had disappeared during the night. It appeared as if an earthquake had swallowed them. The kings, bards, and priests were puzzled by this, but they were not able to find a reason for it. Since there was a possibility that the Saxons would march on them any time, the king set the diggers at work and collected more wood and stone. This time, even the women helped, not only in cooking food, but also to drag the logs and stones. They were even prepared to cut off their long hair to make ropes, if necessary. But the next morning, everything disappeared once again, as if swept by a tempest. Then for the 3rd time, the work proceeded. When the sun rose the next morning, there was not a trace of either material or labour. King Vortigern once again scheduled a council with his 12 wise men to share his concerns and to decide what was to be done. After discussing this for some time, the wise men agreed upon a remedy. During the ancient times, it was a custom in China and Japan that when a new castle or bridge was to be built, a human being was sacrificed. Often a little child was chosen for this purpose. The idea was not only to ward off the evil spirits or to please the dragons underground, but also to make the workmen do their best work faithfully. So nobody was shocked when the king announced that what the wise men declared must be done at the earliest. Nevertheless, all the mothers and fathers feared for their sons and daughters, lest one of them should be chosen as the victim to be killed. King Vortigern had the long horn blown, commanding perfect silence. and then he spoke. A boy who is an orphan must be found and brought here, and he will be put to death. Whoever succeeds in doing this will be rewarded generously. The search began in every part of the Cymric land. One messenger noticed some boys playing ball. 2 of them were quarrelling, and he heard one boy say to the other, "Oh, you are an orphan, and nothing good will ever happen to you." "This must be the one I was looking for," thought the royal messenger, and going up to the boy said, "Please don't mind what he says." Then he promised him lots of gifts if he would go along with him. The little boy gladly agreed, and the next day he was brought before the king. Thousands of workmen, along with their wives and children, had assembled for the ceremony of the boy's sacrifice. As the people held their breath, the boy asked the king, "Why have your servants brought me to this place?" Then the king told him the reason, and the boy asked, "Who advised you to do this?" "My wise counselors asked me to do so," replied the king. "Order them to come before me, your majesty," pleaded the boy. When the wise men appeared, the boy asked them in a respectful manner, "Please tell me, how was the secret of my life revealed to you?" The boy turned towards the king and said, "Pardon me, your majesty, I shall soon reveal the whole matter to you, but first I want to question your advisers. I want them to tell you what is the real cause for all the trouble and what is hidden here underneath the ground." This story will be continued in the next episode, where we shall find out what was hidden underneath the ground and if the boy will succeed in saving his life. The end.
ఈ కథ మనల్ని ఆలోచించమని, మన తెలివితేటలను ఉపయోగించమని చెబుతుంది. మీరు మరిన్ని కథలను అనుభవించాలంటే స్టోరీ వేవ్స్ యాప్ను అప్పుల స్టోర్ లేదా ఆండ్రాయిడ్ యాప్ స్టోర్ నుండి డౌన్లోడ్ చేయండి. స్టోరీ వేవ్స్ సభ్యత్వం 1 నెలకు $1 కంటే తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. ఇది మీ కుటుంబానికి నాణ్యమైన కథలను తీసుకురావడానికి అత్యంత సరసమైన మార్గాలలో ఒకటి. కొత్త కథలు స్టోరీ వేవ్స్ యాప్లో అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి మరియు మనకు ఉన్న అత్యంత ఉత్సాహభరితమైన కంటెంట్ యాప్లో మాత్రమే అందుబాటులో ఉంది. మా యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్కు సభ్యులు కావడానికి మరియు ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్, టిక్టాక్ మరియు స్పాటిఫైలో స్టోరీ వేవ్స్ను ఫాలో అవ్వడానికి మీరు మమ్మల్ని ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నారు. తదుపరి కథల గురించి మాకు తెలియజేయండి. మీరు ఈ కథను చూడటానికి సమయం తీసుకున్నందుకు మేము మీకు ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాము.